It usually happens right before sunrise. You shift in bed, maybe reach for your phone or stretch your legs, and then it hits. A sharp, searing jolt in your calf. Your toes curl in. Your muscle feels like it's twisting itself into a knot. You grab your leg, grit your teeth, maybe even gasp out loud. It stops you cold. You didn't fall. You didn't run a marathon. You were just sleeping. And yet your body woke you up with a cramp that felt like it came out of nowhere. Now, you might think, must be my potassium. Maybe I need to drink more water. Just getting old, I guess, but what if that pain in your leg wasn't just coming from the muscle? What if it was coming from something deeper, quieter, and far more important? What if your blood vessels were trying to tell you something? Because here's the truth most men never hear. A cramp is often the first whisper that your circulation is struggling. It's not just about age. It's not just about how you slept. And it's definitely not about being out of shape. That pain? It's a message from the inside out. As a doctor who's worked with thousands of men over 60, I've learned something vital. Cramps are not just inconvenient. They're not random. They are often the very first sign that your blood flow is restricted, unstable, or under stress. Especially in your legs, where blood has to work hardest to return to the heart. So if your calves are cramping, if your feet are locking up, if your muscles feel like they're firing without warning, don't just reach for a banana. Don't just rub on some cream. Take a deeper look at what your body is trying to tell you. Because behind that pain might be something more important, a circulation issue that's been building slowly, quietly, for years. And now, it's asking for your attention. Before we go further, let's talk about one of the biggest misunderstandings I see in my clinic, the belief that cramps are just a normal part of aging, and why that idea could be preventing you from healing. If you've ever mentioned your leg cramps to someone, chances are you've heard one of these three things. You probably need more potassium. You're not drinking enough water. That's just what happens when you get older, and maybe you believed it. Maybe you even tried eating more bananas or chugging water before bed. But the cramps still came. Maybe not every night, but often enough to make you wonder what's really going on. Brain, here's the truth I want you to hear clearly. Potassium and hydration matter, but they are not the full story. And age? It doesn't cause cramps. What causes cramps is how aging affects your circulation, and how most of us unknowingly make it worse without realizing. Let me explain. Drop of blood. As we age, our blood vessels change. They lose elasticity, they stiffen, the inner lining, called the endothelium, becomes less responsive and blood flow slows, especially to the extremities, legs, feet, and toes. So even if your potassium levels are perfect, even if you're drinking plenty of water, if blood isn't reaching the muscle properly, none of that matters. Because your muscles aren't getting the oxygen, minerals, and hydration where they need it most, inside the cells. Think of it like this: you can own the best gas in the world. But if the fuel line is clogged, your engine will still sputter. That's what poor circulation does. It turns healthy nutrients into unused potential. It causes your muscles to panic. And it leaves you blaming age or diet, when really, it's your blood flow that needs help. Repeat button. The problem is, most men don't connect the dots. They try every trick, supplements, electrolyte drinks, even sleeping with a pillow under their legs, and when the cramps continue, they just accept it as normal. But it's not normal. It's common, yes. But not inevitable. Not irreversible. And not something you should ignore. In fact, those cramps might be your only warning sign, until something more serious happens, like blood pressure issues, vascular stiffness, or even blocked arteries in the legs. Before it ever gets that far, let's step inside the muscle, and look at what a cramp actually is. Because when you understand how a cramp works, you'll never ignore one again. Let's clear something up right now. A cramp isn't just a muscle misfiring. It's not just a random twitch. And it's not your body being old or out of shape. A cramp is your muscle screaming for fuel and not getting it in time. And the fuel it's missing? Not just potassium. Not just magnesium. But oxygen and blood flow. Let's break this down in the simplest way possible. Brain, here's how a healthy muscle works. Your blood vessels deliver oxygen and minerals to the muscle. The muscle uses those nutrients to contract and relax. Waste products, like lactic acid, are cleared out through circulation. The muscle stays calm, responsive, and pain-free. But now imagine this. Your blood flow slows, the vessel narrows, the oxygen delivery stalls, electrolytes are delayed, and waste products get stuck. What happens? The muscle panics. It locks up. It cramps. Not because it's broken, but because it's starving. Fire. What you feel as pain is actually the muscle saying, I can't breathe, I can't clear waste, and I'm stuck in a contraction I can't escape from. It's not laziness. It's not weakness. It's desperation. And the root cause, in many cases, is poor circulation, especially in older men. Because after 60, your vascular system isn't as responsive as it used to be. The vessels are stiffer. The signals are slower. And the muscles are more vulnerable to being underfed. Test 2. The science supports this. Studies show that men over 60 have reduced microcirculation to the lower legs. Cramping is more common in those with vascular stiffness. And leg cramps can sometimes be the first symptom of peripheral artery disease, PAD, long before any diagnosis is made. So the next time you feel a cramp, pause. And instead of blaming your mattress, ask, is my blood flowing the way it should? Am I giving my muscles the oxygen they need to stay relaxed? Is my circulatory system asking for attention, and I've been ignoring it? Because chances are, the cramp isn't the problem. It's the messenger. And the real issue lies in the pipes, not the pump. Now that you understand what a cramp truly is, let me show you how this played out in the life of one of my patients. Harold, 69, had cramps that changed his entire day, until he found the truth about his circulation. Let's hear his story. Harold was 69 when he came to see me, a proud grandfather, former truck driver from Iowa. Stubborn in all the best ways. Tough hands, stronger heart. But his legs? They were sending signals he couldn't ignore anymore. Motorway. It started while driving. Harold noticed a strange tightening in his calves. Not while walking. Not while standing. But while sitting behind the wheel. Doc, every time I hit the 20-minute mark on the road, my calves would cramp so bad I'd have to pull over and walk it off. He thought maybe it was dehydration. Or sitting too long. Or maybe even that old back injury from years ago. So he tried stretching. Bought new shoes. Took magnesium. Nothing worked. The cramps kept coming. Faster. Stronger. Until one day, he couldn't finish the drive to his granddaughter's recital. Disappointed, that moment broke him a little. Not just the pain, but the helplessness. I didn't feel like a man anymore, he said. I couldn't even trust my own legs to get me there. That's when he finally came in for answers. Magnifying glass. What we discovered surprised him. It wasn't just tight muscles. It wasn't lack of stretching. It wasn't even his age. We ran a vascular screening. And found that the arteries in his lower legs were narrowing. Slowing blood flow. Delaying oxygen delivery. Creating the perfect storm for circulation-based cramping. Light bulb. The cramps weren't random. They were warnings from his vascular system. His legs weren't betraying him. They were trying to protect him, to slow him down before something worse happened. Hammer and wrench, we didn't need surgery. We started with daily ankle pumps, standing and stretching every 45 minutes during drives, a simple walking routine after meals, hydration with warm water in the morning, a few circulation supporting foods like beets, leafy greens, and omega-3s, and the results? Doc, I can drive 2 hours now, no cramps, no pulling over. He smiled like a man who got his freedom back. Harold didn't need a new leg. He needed a new way of listening to what his body was already trying to say. And once we improved his blood flow, the cramps didn't just stop. His energy rose. His sleep improved. He even started walking trails again with his grandson. Brain, so why does Harold's story matter? Because he almost missed it. He almost kept ignoring the signs. He almost believed the cramps were just getting older, but they weren't. They were messages. And now, so are yours. So let's learn to recognize the 3 most common ways your body might be asking for better circulation, even before the cramps strike again. Your body speaks long before it breaks down. The challenge is, most of us weren't taught how to listen. Cramps are one signal, but they're rarely the first. In fact, there are quieter, earlier clues that your circulation is struggling. And the sooner you notice them, the easier they are to fix. So let me walk you through 3 common signs I see in men over 60, that often go ignored, misread, or brushed off. Location flag signal number 1: nighttime or seated cramps. You're not even active. You're resting, maybe lying in bed or sitting in your favorite chair. Then out of nowhere, the pain strikes. A toe curls. A calf locks. You jump, grab, breathe through it. If your muscles are cramping when you're at rest, that's not overuse, that's undercirculation. It means blood isn't flowing properly even when you're still. That your muscles are oxygen starved, even without movement. And that's a major clue. Snowflake signal number 2: cold feet. Even when it's warm, you put on socks. You wrap up in a blanket. But your feet still feel icy. Especially at night or early morning. That's not poor insulation, that's poor circulation. When blood has trouble reaching the ends of your body, your toes, your soles, they lose warmth. Heat is carried by blood. No blood equals no heat. This signal is often dismissed as aging or a side effect of medication. But it's one of the earliest warnings that your vascular system needs help. Low battery signal number 3: heavy or tired legs. After light activity, you walk up a small hill. You carry groceries. You clean the kitchen or garden for a bit. And suddenly, your legs feel heavy. Like lead. Drained. As if they've worked much harder than they should have. This isn't just fatigue. It's your muscles saying, we're not getting the oxygen we need to keep going, if light activity is wearing you down. It may be that your blood isn't flowing fast enough, wide enough, or consistently enough to support what you're doing. Magnifying glass, these aren't random symptoms. They're patterns. Your body's early warning system. And they're usually reversible, if you catch them early, and respond with the right support. So the question is, are you listening to the whispers, or waiting for the shout? Next, I'll show you how to answer those signals, with gentle, doable habits that support circulation without stress. No gym. No pressure. Just flow. Let's get into it. Let's make one thing clear, you don't need intense workouts or extreme diets to get your blood flowing again. You need rhythm. You need repetition. You need kindness to your body. Because at 60 and beyond, your circulatory system responds best to consistency over intensity. And the good news? Even tiny changes, done daily, can open up blood vessels, calm your nervous system, and reduce the frequency of those painful cramps. Let's explore 5 simple habits that men over 60 can use to retrain the flow. Anti-clockwise arrows. 1. Ankle pumps every morning. Before you even stand up, sit at the edge of your bed and gently point your toes forward, then pull them back toward your knees. Repeat slowly for 60 seconds. Why it works. This pumping motion mimics walking, activating the calf muscles and pushing blood back up toward the heart. It's like turning on your internal circulation engine before the first step. Droplet. 2. Warm water after waking. Start your day with 1 glass of room temperature or warm water, before coffee, before food, before anything else. Why it works. Warm water rehydrates your blood volume, helps your vessels expand, and gets your digestive and circulatory systems moving together. Cold water can sometimes constrict blood vessels, warm water invites them to open. Alarm clock. 3. Stand and move every 60 minutes. Set a reminder, an alarm, or a habit. Every hour you sit, get up and move for just 1 to 2 minutes. You can march in place. Do light heel raises. Gently roll your shoulders and neck. Why it works. Prolonged sitting stiffens your vessels and slows circulation, especially to the legs. These micro movements reset the flow before stagnation sets in. Wind face. 4. Breathe deep, 5 rounds. Find a quiet moment, sit upright, and do. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 2, exhale slowly for 6 counts, repeat 5 times. Why it works. This activates your parasympathetic system, the rest and repair mode, which allows blood vessels to dilate and supports healthier blood pressure and oxygen delivery. It also reduces nervous system overactivity, a hidden cause of cramping in many older adults. Leafy green. 5. Add circulation-friendly foods daily. Focus on foods that naturally support blood flow, including beets. Increase nitric oxide. Leafy greens, rich in nitrates and magnesium. Fatty fish support vessel lining with omega-3s. Dark berries contain flavonoids that protect capillaries. Cinnamon and turmeric gently reduce inflammation and vessel stiffness. These aren't fancy superfoods. They're simple ingredients that help your vessels stay flexible, open, and strong. Brain. You don't need perfection. You just need a pattern your body can rely on. And with these 5 habits, you're no longer guessing. You're no longer reacting after the pain. You're proactively restoring your flow before symptoms strike. But not every cramp is harmless. Some are warnings. Some are signals of deeper vascular trouble. So next, let's talk about the signs you should never ignore, and when a cramp is telling you it's time to see your doctor. Most cramps are just that, a signal that your muscles need better circulation, more oxygen, or simple movement. But sometimes, a cramp is more than just a warning. It's a red flag. And as a doctor, I need to tell you something important. There are certain symptoms you should never brush off, even if they seem small. Because while many cramps are harmless, some may be the first sign of vascular disease, especially in men over 60. Let's walk through the top signs that tell you, this isn't just a muscle issue, it's time to get checked. Location. Flag 1. Cramps that happen at rest, repeatedly. If you're getting leg cramps while sitting or lying down, especially if they happen often and don't respond to stretching or hydration, this could be a sign that arterial flow is restricted, even when your body is still. That's a warning. Muscles shouldn't panic when they're resting. Location. Flag 2. Pain or burning in calves after short walks. You walk half a block. You feel fine. Then suddenly, your calves feel heavy, tight, or burn like fire. You stop. The pain eases. You start again, and it comes right back. This could be a classic symptom of peripheral artery disease, PAD, a condition where narrowed arteries reduce blood flow to the legs. It mimics muscle fatigue, but it's a circulation issue at its core. Location flag 3. Numbness, tingling, or color changes in your feet. Feet that turn pale or bluish, toes that feel numb or tingly, legs that feel colder than your hands. Even with socks on, these signs suggest your small blood vessels may be struggling to supply enough oxygen to your lower limbs. If left untreated, this can lead to nerve damage, skin changes, or slow healing wounds. Location flag 4. Slow healing cuts or sores on your feet or legs. If you have a small wound, and it takes weeks to close, or never fully heals, this may signal circulatory deficiency. Your body can't send enough blood, oxygen, and nutrients to support proper recovery. This isn't just uncomfortable. It can become dangerous if infection sets in. Location flag 5. A sudden increase in cramp intensity or frequency. If your cramps become more intense, wake you from sleep consistently, or start happening in both legs at the same time, this shift is worth paying attention to. Pain that escalates without a clear trigger could mean your vessels are narrowing faster than your body can compensate. Brain, don't panic, but don't ignore these signs. Many circulation issues are treatable if caught early. That's the power of awareness. It turns a painful symptom into a protective message. So if any of these symptoms sound familiar, please speak to your doctor. Ask for a circulation check. It could be as simple as a painless ultrasound test, and it could save you years of pain, or worse. Now that you know when to act, let me close with a message of hope. Because if you've made it this far, you're already doing the most important thing: listening. Let's finish together with the reminder that your cramps are not betrayals. They are invitations to heal. Let's pause here for a moment. You've made it through stories, science, and signals. You've looked under the surface of something that most people ignore. And now, you've heard what your body may have been trying to say for years. A cramp isn't an interruption. It's communication. And if you've ever woken up to that sudden grip in your calf, if you've ever stopped mid-step from that unexpected pain, you know exactly what I mean. Because that pain? That wasn't just tight muscle. That was a message from your circulatory system. A request for help. A call to action. Brain, and when you choose to listen, everything begins to change. You don't need to fear your body. You don't need to fight it. You just need to respond. With gentle movement, with hydration, with attention to the patterns, with respect for the changes of age, not shame about them. You see, healing after 60 isn't about going backward. It's not about chasing youth. It's about learning to hear your body more clearly than you ever did at 30. When you listen, you build trust. And when your body feels trusted, it starts to relax. Blood flows easier. Muscles soften. Energy returns. That's how healing begins. Not with punishment, but with permission. So here's my invitation to you, as your doctor, but more importantly, as someone who believes in your second chapter. Every cramp is a chance. A chance to pause. To ask. To care. And to restore the flow that carries life to every cell in your body. If you've felt these messages in your legs, if you've brushed them off before, if you're ready to listen, even just a little, right finger comment, flow, below. Let this be your quiet yes. Your personal turning point. And your way of saying, I'm ready to move with my body, not against it, because no matter your age, no matter your past, you can rebuild flow. You can move without fear. And you can wake up tomorrow feeling one step closer to yourself again. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next healing step.